Journey with me to a time of heroes and legends, where epic tales were born and immortalized in the stars, and tragedies were a common story archetype. And, to be fair, tragedies are my favorite story archetype, and I think we should have more of them in stories these days. But before we get started, make sure you subscribe so that you can get more videos about theater, the history of different musicals, and maybe a few more things that I've got coming down the road. Anyway, but regardless, this story begins with Homer's The Odyssey, a masterpiece of literature that has captured audiences for millennia, and I read in high school multiple times and was absolutely entranced by. It tells the tale of Odysseus, the cunning king of Ithaca, and his perilous journey home from the Trojan War. However, when the story begins, while we are somewhat introduced to the plight of Odysseus, our main focus is on his home of Ithaca and his son, Telemachus, as he wonders whether his father is truly dead after being gone for 20 years. After a new friend arrives, hint hint, he travels to Peloponnese only to find Nestor and Menelaus, two men who fought in the Trojan War with his father, and there he discovers that his father is in fact alive and well. From there, we enter the next 4 books of our story, where we focus on Odysseus and his current predicament. We learn he is being released from Calypso's island, but ends up in yet another shipwreck, not even his second of the story, by the way. Where he lands, we learn about his adventures at sea after the war as he explains his adventures to the Phaeacians. In the final books of the Odyssey, we see Odysseus finally return home. But there are still many obstacles and a lot of danger when he returns to Ithaca. And I don't want to spoil it for anyone who hasn't read the Odyssey and is really into epic and is really excited to find out what happens. So I won't be saying what Odysseus does when he returns home in the end, just for the case of the play and people who are new. Because, let's face it, a lot of people didn't read old Greek stories or even Shakespeare and stuff like that. It's a very niche kind of community almost. A really fun and interesting one. And if you're a huge theater nerd like me, you might have really gotten into those kinds of things. So now, we fast forward to the 21st century, where the ancient epic is reborn in Epic the Musical, created by the visionary Jorge Rivera-Herrans, as he transforms Odysseus' adventures into a musical odyssey that resonates more with today's audience. And coming off of the success of Hamilton, I feel like a lot more people are very much into musicals today. The musical's journey from concept to viral sensation is a modern-day odyssey in itself. Rivera-Herrans' passion project, inspired by video games and anime, began in his college dorm and exploded into a social media phenomenon with millions of views across platforms. I only even discovered it after he had already been working on it for years, and has become my new obsession. So thank you for that. George is also a musical genius, and maybe that's just my personal opinion. Heavily inspired by Peter and the Wolf, each character in Epic is represented by a different melody or instrument. For example, Hermes being represented by the lyre, or Zeus by the electric bass and drums. What makes Epic the Musical truly unique is its community. A legion of fans, over 40,000 strong, have rallied behind the musical, sharing fan art, theories, and even tattoos inspired by the lyrics. And that's just those who are in the Discord community, including myself. That's not counting the thousands of people who are probably also still following, who aren't in the Discord or don't have a Discord. This project is massive. One of the reasons it's currently my favorite musical is because of being able to follow the journey and hear the creator talk about all these different things that inspire him along the way. It's just so epic. At its core, Epic the Musical is about the human experience, love, loss, the relentless pursuit of home, but the main theme of the musical is being ruthless, as Poseidon states in the song Ruthlessness. George himself essentially states that from the beginning to the end of the play, Odysseus has to deal with different levels of being ruthless. We see these levels in The Horse of the Infant, Ruthlessness, and Monster, which at the time of this recording is set to be released in less than a week, part of the Underworld saga. It's a story that transcends time, much like Odysseus' own quest. From ancient Greece to the digital age, the spirit of the Odyssey endures. Epic the Musical is only the latest vessel to carry a timeless tale forward, inviting a new generation to set sail on their own epic journey. As the curtain falls, we're reminded that stories like the Odyssey and Epic the Musical are not just tales of the past. They are mirrors reflecting our deepest desires and our eternal quest to find our own way back home. And if you haven't had the chance to check out Epic the Musical, please make sure you do. Because the faster we can get all these parts to release, the faster I can get released and have my fulfillment. Because I will not be happy until this entire thing is done so I can listen to it all. Anyway, thank you for tuning in, and I hope you enjoyed this episode of History Behind the Musical. If you did, make sure to like, subscribe, and check out some of the other videos I've done. So, yeah, bye.